Hey guys, Buffin Gaming back bringing another video, and today I'm going to cover my favorite version of the AK-47, which I'm using right now, how to build it, the blueprint I'm using in particular. You can make this particular build with any blueprint, but this right now is my favorite AK build. I think it's very satisfying to use when you're getting kills. So let's go ahead and get in. I'll show you how to build it, and then we'll show some gameplay in the back also of this being used in multiplayer. So go back to the base. Well, this is my final design for the weapon. And what I'm using here is the Revolution blueprint. So if I go back to my standard AK blueprints, we're using this Revolution blueprint that we got in one of the bundles the other day. I did a video on that for this particular build as the AKM. So what this is really is a mix. This is as far as AK from single player. This is really a mix of an AKM. It has some AK-74 parts on it as well. So again, Call of Duty seems to be doing something where they're mixing and matching things to kind of give you flexibility, which I'm fine with. They're both very similar looking, but you see this is an AKM at base for the most part. But what I did to do this is I took this. So what I'll do, I'll select this and I'll build this weapon. You can do this with any AK in the game to build this. I just particularly selected this because I wanted the AKM grip. You see that colored grip versus the base AK-47. If we were to look at the base AK, you see how that's really like an OG model of the AK-47. It's very old plywood, very rusty looking, not very aesthetically pleasing. So we'll go with the AKM for the Revolution blueprint, and that's going to give us that, as I said, that AKM look to it. Looks a lot newer, more modern version of the AKM is what we're going to make here. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of the muzzle brake. The way I start building this is I'm going to go with a lightweight suppressor. Mainly, this is personal preference. We're not getting an ADS speed impact with this. It's going to help us with our sound suppression. The only con is damage at range, but we're not taking a hit with the ADS speed, which is something key with this weapon because it is kind of slow. But again, as I said, very satisfying. So the barrel, we're going to go with that Spetsnaz Elite. Again, this is kind of an M-lock, modernized M-lock barrel that we get. It's going to give us that damage at range and the bullet velocity for our pros. The con being ADS speed, but visually it looks very nice as well, and I like the way this one handles. Laser, we're going to skip for the optic. What I use is a Thermal Hybrid, so that gives us the 3.25 thermal scope with the candid 45 mounted red dot sight for more close range engagements. So pros being reflex and thermal toggle, and the zoom level being the increased zoom with the thermal sight. Cons being ADS speed again, but with this, especially, I've been playing a lot of realism mode, and that sight is just it's amazing. It's very satisfying to get kills, especially on night maps. You can use this sight with your night vision goggles. You would just put them up. You can look down scope with the thermal, and then you can swap over to the red dot with your nods on. So it really kind of gives you an advantage, especially if you're carrying smoke. You put yourself in smoke, you can see through with that thermal sight, which you end up getting a lot of kills with. Now for the stock, the skeleton stock is not really something I like, and it doesn't really fit the look of the weapon. If we select no stock, it retains the same stock. So we're going to go with the FSS close quarters stock. Gives it the more modern AKM stock that we want here, and this is going to give us the aim down sight speed, and the cons being the aiming stability. And then we're going to go ahead and get rid of mo money that comes with a perk, and we're going to go ahead and do the underbarrel for the Commando foregrip. I've also had a lot of success using the Ranger foregrip as well to help control that recoil. But again, this is something that's going to impact your aim, walking movement speed, and your ADS speed, which I try to avoid as much as I can with this weapon. So this is the final build, and the reason I picked this particular blueprint is just because for that for the 7.62 by 39 rounds that the AKM comes with, we have that the more modern looking magazine, which we talked about in the AKM video I did for the Revolution blueprint. You just have the tape on there, which honestly is fine. If we could get more of a plain magazine, like you see with the 5.45 by 39 ammo, I think it'd look even better. But for the most part, it looks good versus you're using so many attachment slots that if we were to do it with a base AK-47, you get the old rustic looking magazine, which I just don't really like the look or the fit on this weapon. So I like to keep this particular build for how I like to do this. So this is the final design. And again, I'll show some gameplay after this, but the keys for this is the thermal sight. Just getting kills with the thermal scope is so satisfying, especially I mainly play realism now. And you're able to just get a very clear and precise picture of your target and shoot them. And when you get those hits, you just see the thermal blood and everything splatter. It's extremely satisfying. So I have a lot of fun running this. And the good thing is, as I said, you have that candid 45 mounted red dot sight. So if you're not in a situation where you want to use the thermal, or say you're going to more close range or going indoors where you don't have a need for that 3.25 zoom, you can just switch to that candid red dot sight there and have a more clear, precise picture without the zoom and without the thermal optics on it. So overall, this is right now my favorite AK build in the game. I love using it. As I said, the most satisfying build, especially in realism. I haven't played with it too much in just regular multiplayer, but I think it looks pretty. You can also throw some camos on there. My favorite camo is going to be on the Splinter category, it's the Autumn Dazzle that gives us more of a Spetsnaz. It looks very similar to like a Spetsnaz red camo that I'm used to in like Medal of Honor Warfighter, or even Battlefield 4 has very similar looking camo. So this gives it more of a Spetsnaz red looking camo. You can do some different Tiger camos as well to kind of replicate that, or there are some different Spetsnaz type camos available in the game as well. But that's really the final design. As I said, I just love using this. As far as how viable is it, again, you have to use this kind of in a specific niche. You need to move slow with this and be more precise. You can't run and gun with this because your ADS speed isn't great. I would recommend really running this with Overkill and maybe carrying an SMG as your secondary, and then using this more at those long range games, especially in realism on the night vision maps. It kind of gives you a really good advantage because you can see much more clear at distance. If you're ADSing with your thermal sight, you can look down the thermal scope, or you can go candid and use your red dot sight as well. So you're not getting I don't believe you get a glint with the thermal optic. And you're not using a laser when looking down the thermal, to my knowledge. When you switch to the 45 mounted candid red dot sight, then you get the laser for the night vision maps. But if you're on a night vision map using your thermal sight, there's really no way anybody's going to see you at a distance as well, and you have a nice clear picture. So currently that's my favorite AK build, most satisfying build that I like to use. Let me know what you guys think. I usually run this with an MP5 on Overkill, just so if I get myself in more of close quarter situations, I'm able to compete. It's not very, as I said, the ADS speed is slow, so unless you're kind of aiming down sights and moving, if you're trying to pie corners or something like that, it's at a big disadvantage because you're not going to win many gunfights. But with that 7.62 rounds, you get the damage, and that thermal sight, as I said, is just extremely satisfying to get kills with. So let me know what you guys think. I'm going to just keep the gameplay up in the background, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, be sure to follow me over on Twitch. Social media links are down below in the description. And if you like the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. It definitely helps out smaller channels like myself. Let me know what you think of this particular build in the comments below. Do you like this kind of build? Are you a fan of the Thermal Hybrid sights? Have you tried it? Or is it something like you'll never touch? But again, you don't need the Revolution blueprint to build this weapon. You can build it with any AK. I just preferred this one because I wanted to keep more of a modern looking magazine for the AK, which we covered in the AKM video, versus the old rustic AK-47 standard magazine. So hopefully in the future they allow us just to select different types of different variations of attachments. So we could, for example, we could have different cosmetic selection spots for a 7.62 base magazine, or a 100 round magazine for the drum, C-mags, etc. So just different cosmetic changes to the same magazine without impacting the performance of the weapon, like different skeleton stocks I could select between. That will take it to another level of visual customization, I think. So I'm hoping that'll come down the road. But let me know what you guys think of this weapon. This is my custom AKM build for realism mode, where I use the thermal and the red dot cannon sights. And until next time, Buffner Gaming, out.
Enemy at the office.
You've lost the lead. Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy's halfway there. Step it up. 10 seconds. Get ready to move. Location secured. Friendly precision airstrike on the way. 10 seconds, get ready to move. Enemies got the hostage. Get to the high point, move.
Capture and defend the forward operating positions.
Friendly, don't shoot!
Reloading.
Free or a day.
Securing Alpha. Friendly UAV overhead.
Enemy at the construction site.
Securing C. Losing B. We captured Charlie.
Enemy in the crossroads.
Got two objectives. Lock it down. Be advised. Friendly precision airstrike inbound.
Enemy at the bazaar.
Yeah, tracked it down. Changing mags.
Assist your team at Charlie.
Enemy at the electronics store.
Securing C.
Enemy at the barber shop.
Reloading.
Enemy holds two objectives. Take them back. We're taking Charlie. Enemy's halfway there. Step it up. We've got Charlie. Assist your team at Charlie. Securing Alpha. We've lost Charlie. Alpha secure. You're needed at Bravo. We've lost Bravo.
Reloading.
I got you, let's go.
Coming from the other side. destroyed. Got 2 objectives. Keep hitting them. Enemy personal radar in the air. We're on Bravo. Stand by. We're taking Bravo. Securing C. We've got Charlie. Need backup at Alpha.
Enemy at the
Lost
barber shop.
Alpha. Enemy precision airstrike. Losing C. Charlie. We're taking Bravo. Assist your team
Enemy
at
at the
C.
electronics store.
We're holding Bravo. Hostiles at Charlie.
Reloading.
Securing A. Enemy chopper gunner on approach. Losing Bravo. We're on Charlie. Stand by. Friendly UAV overhead. Enemy holds all objectives. Securing Alpha.
Enemy at the
We're
electronics
holding
store.
Charlie. Captured Alpha.
Yeah, tracked it down.
Hostiles at Alpha. Go. Need backup at Alpha. Hostiles at Alpha. Go. Hostiles are taking
Enemy at the
Charlie.
bridge.
Allied cruise missile away. We've lost A. We're taking Bravo. Enemy holds all objectives. Friendly missile on station for overwatch.
There, put it down.